Ohai. The Republic of Cyprus, the island state on the Middle East. Though out of geographical criteria can be considered as a part of Europe, an east part of the Mediterranean Sea. The member of the European Union since May 1, 2004. Officially, the territory of the Republic of Cyprus includes 98% of the territory of the island of the same name. Other 7% occupy Akrotiri and Dekali as British military bases. And also nearby islands Agios, Georgios, Geronissos, Plikiotisa, Hyla, Kaides, Cordelia and Mazaki. De facto, after the events of 1974, the island is divided into 4 parts. 6% of the territory of the island are controlled by the authorities of the Republic Cyprus, inhabited by generally ethnic Greeks. 36% the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus, inhabited by generally ethnic Turks. 3.7% the Union, 2.7% the British Armed Forces. Tursk is recognized as the independent state only by Turkey. The most part of the island is occupied with mountains. Along the northern coast in the width direction, the mountain chain of Kyrenia lasts. Its width in the western part -15 km, to the east she extends up to 25-30 km. Western part of ridge Kyrenia higher. Separate tops exceed 1000 m. The highest point of the ridge, Mount Akramanda, 1023 m. The southwest half of the island is occupied with the wide massif Troodos, which is cut up by longitudinal river valleys. His northern part is highest. There is also the highest point of Cyprus, Mount Olymp, 1951 m. Between ridges the low, pelagical-misty plain of Messoria, irrigated in the period of rains by temporary streams of the Akaki River in the west and the river Pedia in the east lies. Messoria's plain is put by sea deposits, mainly Quaternary period. This plain, protected by mountains from winds, has favorable climate and is a granary of Cyprus. Fields of wheat and barley alternate with groves of olives, mulberry and orange trees here, and on the foothills are replaced by vineyards. Going down to the east and the southeast, Messoria's plain passes into the coastal lowland of Gulfs Amokostos and Larnaca. It is possible to see sharp contrasts of landscapes in Cyprus. Bright green groves of oil-bearing and citrus fruit crops are combined with the dry yellow foothills, juicy meadows with a motley carpet of flowers and groves of walnut, with wild rocks of treeless mountain tops, the azure coast with snow-white spots of yachts, with the winter coniferous forest and a dazzling cap of snow of mountains Troodos. The coast is mainly rocky, but where there are considerable sandy beaches. The prehistoric period of Cyprus begins with the emergence moment on the island of the first traces of the person, dated, according to the latest data, the 10 millennium BB, and comes to an end on Ilgos joint and Elgo of the millennia BB, from the beginning of sociopolitical processes which led to creation of the Cyprian kingdoms during the historical period. The history of Cyprus begins with the Neolithic era, unlike Greece, where remains of human presence in the period of a Paleo were found. Approximately from 11th century BB, Cyprus becomes an integral part of the Hellenistic civilization. The Achaeans who were coming back from the Trojan War landed on the island and began consecutive assimilation of autochthon, so-called Ethiocypriot. Ever since the island is inhabited by Greeks. Advantageous strategic position of Cyprus in the Mediterranean Sea promoted that it during all the history passed from hand to hand more than once, remaining on the periphery of various empires. It was won by Alexander of Macedon, and in 331 BB governors of Cyprus recognized his power. In the 3rd century BB Cyprus was a part of the power of Ptolemy, in which periodically I used essential autonomy, being allocated to the certain kingdom. In the 58th year BB Cyprus became the Roman province, however in the 48th year BB Caesar returned it to Ptolemais. After Octavian Augustus's victory over Antony. 31 years BB. Cyprus finally was a part of the Roman Empire, and after her division into East and Western in 395, structure of East Byzantium. In 965 the famous Cyprus was created. In 1191 the English king the Lionheart conquered Cyprus on the way to the Holy Land. But as Cyprus wasn't really necessary to him, and money is necessary, he soon sold it to a notable surname Lusignan, which based the royal dynasty ruling Cyprus about 300 years. Thus, Cyprus became the Cyprian kingdom. In 1489 the last queen of Cyprus, the notable Venetian Caterina Cornaro, presented the island to the homeland, and about 100 years Cyprus belonged to the Venetian Republic. Action of the tragedy of Shakespeare Othello, the Venetian Moor, by the way, belongs to this period. In Famagusta even Othello's lock where Desdemona was allegedly killed remained. In 1570-1571 Cyprus is conquered by Ottoman Turks who own it 300 years. In 1878 Cyprus becomes English, in the beginning de facto, at nominal sovereignty of the Ottoman Empire, and after World War I already and legally. As a result of long-term national liberation fight in 1960, during disintegration of colonial empires, the island gained independence, having soon become the arena of collisions between the Greek and Turkish communities. British up to present time reserve Akrotiri and Dekalai as military bases on the island. The Archbishop Cyprian Makarios of III was elected the first president of Cyprus. Friction between Greek Cypriots and Turkish Cypriots. In other words, between Orthodox Christians and Muslims. At once gained such acuity that in 1964 peacekeeping forces of the Union were entered into Nicosia. In 1974 collisions turned into the open war complicated by intervention of Greece and Turkey. Supporters of Enosis. Accession of the island to Greece. With assistance of regime of black colonels, committed a military coup in response to which Turkey right there landed the troops to Cyprus, motivating it with need of protection of Turks. It was supposed to occupy about 30% of the island as so many Turks lived on the island. According to the Turkish data, Greeks give figure approximately twice below. Actually was occupied slightly more. The Turkish army reached the English bases and there stopped. The island was actually divided into the Greek and Turkish parts. Monuments to war heroes of 1974 in a large number stand both in northern and in the southern part of the island. In the territory occupied by Turks in 1978, the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus, recognized only by Turkey, was proclaimed. In 2004, the Republic of Cyprus entered the European Union, in 2008, the Eurozone. After division, the vast majority of Cypriot Greeks lives in the south, and Cypriot Turks in the north. The general population makes about 800,000 people, from whom 300,000 Turks. Also in Cyprus, 17,000 British, not less than 40,000 Russians. According to the ambassador of the Russian Federation, live. After war of 1974, about 180,000 Greek Cypriots ran or were violently moved on the south. About 42,000 Turkish Cypriots also ran or were violently moved on the north. And both groups of the population live only in the city of Pila of the district Larnaca, at the administration appointed by the Union. The population, being under control of the Republic of Cyprus, according to the end of 2011, reached 838,897 people, many of which, 21.4%, are foreign citizens. Since 2014, foreign investors were granted the right to citizenship of Cyprus thanks to introduction of the legislative amendment by the government and creation of the special state program. As of 2019, by estimates of the Union, immigrants, 16% of the population of the country lived in the Republic of Cyprus. Most of the population of Cyprus, ethnic Greeks, professes Orthodox Christianity, ethnic Turks Islam. The Cypriot Orthodox Church has the status of quasi-public establishment and plays a noticeable role in social and political life of the country. The head of the Cypriot Church, the Archbishop Nova Justiniani, and all Cyprus. Besides the temples, more than 500, which are available almost in each village, the church possesses in Cyprus 9 monasteries which possess considerable and most fertile lands of the island, they having year-round artificial irrigations, and other large property. Catholic, Maronite churches and also Judaism and other religions are presented. The Constitution of 1960. Article 19 decides that each person has the right of freedom of speech, conscience and religion. All religions are equal before the law, and any legislative, executive or administrative act of the Republic can't discriminate any religious institute or the religious organization. Each person has the right to freedom of worship, he can study the religion individually or collectively. The only current limitations of such freedom are defined in the Constitution of the Republic and control safety of the Republic and its citizens. All these resolutions indicate that on the island there is no officially recognized religion. They also guarantee protection of the rights of 2 religious groups which make a smaller part of the population: Catholics and Maronites. The industry share in gross national product makes 18%. 1/3 costs of industrial output are created in mining industry and 2/3 in processing. The small enterprises prevail. Many large enterprises, especially mining industry, belong to the foreign capital, mainly to English. Extraction of copper ore, 16.3 thousand tons on metal content export. Ferruterous pyrite, 57.6 thousand tons export. Chromites, 41.3 thousand tons. Asbestos, 3,000 tons export.
salts, plaster, marble is conducted.
In 2010, the volume of gross output of the mining industry was 90.4 million euros, employment in the industry minus 585 people.
Power plants. With a general power of 204,000 U. Use imported oil.
In 1971, electricity generation of 564 million UH.
It is developed food. Production of wine minus 49. 4,000 tons in 1971, olive oil about 1,000 tons, fruit and vegetable canned food, etc. Tobacco, textile, tanning and shoe, etc. The industry. Production of cement. 303,000 tons in 1971. Oil refinery. Domestic production is developed. Products from ceramics, metal, etc. The industry of Cyprus has many export-oriented industries. In 2010, the total amount of export was 475.4 million euros, minus 20.7% more than in 2009. The main groups of goods delivered to other countries is the importance. Pharmaceutical products, drinks and food, electronics, products of processing industry, car and equipment, metals and products of the chemical industry. Also, Cyprus exports furniture, clothes, leather products and cars accessories. Agriculture gives about 18% of gross national product. Over 1/3 lands belong to the state, clergy, big landowners. The bulk of farms, small and average, country plots, don't exceed 6 hectares. The dissociation and dispersion of allotments interfere with mechanization of agriculture. The leading branch of agriculture. 66% of the area of the country are processed. Development of agriculture depends substantially on irrigation. About 12% of the processed lands have constant irrigation. On irrigation lands, about 50% of all agricultural products are produced. Main cultures. Wheat. The cultivated area of 78,000 hectares, collecting 95,000 tons. Barley. 72,000 hectares, 110,000 tons. Oats, bean and melon cultures cultivated on Mesoria's plain and around. Dates and also the grapes. 38,000 hectares, 185,000 tons. Cultivated on the southern and western slopes of mountains and on the coast, a citrus. 172,000 tons. Mainly on the coast, a carob tree. 35,000 tons of fruits. Potatoes, carrots, tobacco, almonds, grenades. There are plantings of olive trees. Olive oil is partially exported. And walnut groves. 4/5 Gathering fruit, vegetables, commercial crops go for export. The livestock production is backward, it is conducted in mountainous areas.
Cultivation of sheep, goats, pigs, cattle.
Silkworm breeding is developed. In coastal areas, fishing and sponges. The British colonial authorities constructed the railroad on the island. It opened in 1905 and contained 39 stations and stops, including Famagusta and Nicosia. In 1951-1952 it is closed in connection with low payback. Highways in Cyprus are divided into the main, auxiliary asphalted, country and highways. Motorway. The movement is left side. The main four roads run on the southern coast from Larnaca to Limassol and conduct to Nicosia. Public transport, buses and the taxi. In the Republic of Cyprus there are two international airports, Pathos. 16 came from the city. And Larnaca. 2 came from the city. The airline serving the Greek part of the island, Cyprus Airways, was declared on January 9, 2015 bankrupt. In July 2016 the government of Cyprus announced a victory of Charlie Airlines Limited airline startup in a competition on the right within 10 years to use a brand of Cyprus Airways. Charlie Airlines was created in the form of joint venture of the Russian airline S Airlines, 40%, and consortium of local Cypriot investors, 60%. Charlie Airlines started the regular message of St. Petersburg and Tel Aviv with Larnaca. Tickets for flights to the Greek roads and Heraklion are also available to purchase. Besides, the flights connecting Greece, Russia and the United Kingdom to Cyprus are announced. In the Erdogan Airport, Tur, Erkin. In northern Cyprus flights are performed by Turkish Airlines, Atlasjet, Turkey, Anadolujet, Pegasus, Owner Air. The Nicosia Airport in a buffer zone of the Union is thrown and doesn't work.
The Larnaca Airport is open in 1975 and is partially located in the territory which was earlier used by Great Britain as military base.
Large seaports are Limassol and Larnaca. In northern Cyprus the operating port in Famagusta. Tourism, one of the main articles of national income. The Cypriot Organization for Tourism bears responsibility for it. Cyprus Tourist Organization, STO. In this sector a considerable part of the population works, and the profit made by tourism is the main source of foreign currency in the budget of the Republic. For the last 4 years the number of the tourists visiting Cyprus increased by 29%, and profit on tourism for 40%. Source: many beaches of Cyprus are awarded with the blue flag of the European Union for ecological purity and infrastructure. The majority of these beaches municipal, rent of sunbeds and sunshades on them paid. The city of Nicosia, Lefkosia, the capital and the largest city of Cyprus. He is located in the center of the island and divided by the Green Line. Green Line. A buffer zone between the southern and northern Cyprus. The northern part of the city is also the capital of the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus. The second largest city of Cyprus, the seaport Limassol, founded in the Byzantine times. To the west from him there is the British sovereign base Akrotiri. From the resorts of Cyprus, Agia Napa is the center of club life and is focused generally on youth. For family holiday serves, generally Pathos and Protaras. Beaches of Limassol are covered with dark sand of mainly volcanic origin. Beaches of Augianapa and Protaras differ in white sand. Coast of Pathos, generally rocky. The city Pathos is included in the list of World Cultural Heritage of UNESCO, and also is known that near him there is a Bay of Aphrodite. On a legend, in this place the goddess of love and beauty was born from foam sea. Sites of Cyprus represent mix of various eras: the Byzantine Colossi Lock in which Asat Komnen took refuge from crusaders, church in which Richard I the Lionheart got married to Princess Berengaria Nevarskaya, the Venetian fortresses, the British left-hand traffic. The main attraction in the north of the island is Famagusta with a medieval tower of Otello and ghost town. Quarter of Varosha. The geographical proximity to a number of the Mediterranean countries allows to hold for tourist sea cruises to Egypt, Israel, Rhodes Island or Jordan. Cruise liners go from seaports Larnaca and Limassol, and correspond to 3-5-star hotels. Cruise time usually about 2 days. At arrival in Israel for citizens of the Russian Federation, the visa-free regime works. The Cosleys to tourists have red numbers which begin with letter Z. The driver has to be not younger 25 and 70 years and more senior, and to have a driver's experience not less than 3 years. In private rolling offices these requirements are quite often reduced up to 18, 70 years and 2 years of an experience. It is necessary to remember that the movement in Cyprus left side. On the island there are a lot of circular outcomes. The car which is on a circle has advantage. All drivers without fail pass the pedestrians moving on the crosswalk. In such cities as Nicosia, Larnaca, etc., it is possible to get to traffic jams. Also there can be difficulties with the free parking. Treats the British heritage, besides left-hand traffic, the standard of power supply, the socket Triostokovi. One of them grounding, an analogue of side contact of an Eurofork. But with tension of 245 as was in Great Britain. In Great Britain 235 now. The local population traditionally adheres to Orthodox Christianity. On the island there is a large number of Orthodox churches, on sale, a set of Orthodox icons. Also Orthodox shrines, such as St. Lazar's tomb in Larnaca, are among sites of Cyprus. Banks work at Cyprus only on weekdays, from 8:30 till 13:30. Most shops don't work at the island on Wednesday after a lunch, and all hairdressing salons on Thursday have a day off. For the period of a tourist season many sellers, for example, Debenhams network, switch over to the prolonged operating mode. In a relationship between two communities a certain tension remains.
At communication with Cypriot Greeks it isn't recommended to mention the Turkish occupation of a northern part of the capital.
Especially sensitive issue is coast town of Varosha. To photograph a border zone between the Greek and Turkish sectors, the military personnel and military facilities, it is forbidden. Among ethnic Greeks in Cyprus there live the Pontic Greek repatriates from the former Usser. National currency till January 1, 2008 was the Cypriot pound. CYP. 1 CYP was approximately equal to $2 and was divided into 100 cents. Banknotes had inscriptions in 3 languages: English, Greek and Turkish. Equivalent of the word pound. Pound is lira in Cyprus, usually used in Turkish. The pound was founded in 1879, until 1960 equal to the British pound sterling. Also, as well as pound sterling, it was divided into 20 shillings. However, unlike pound sterling, the shilling was divided into 9 piastres. Cuirassiers. That established connection with the previous currency, Turkish lira, which was also divided into cuirassiers. On a sample of Turkish lira piastres, cuirassiers were divided into the 40th couple. Couple were never used in coins or banknotes, but were specified on stamps. Coins were entered in, and 1 piastre. The coin in a quarter of piastre was called by Cypriot Greeks of a decor. From a soundboard, 10.
Is couple equal 10?
Piastre and Icosar. Icos, 20. Also coins in 3, 4 were issued.
9, 18 piastres, 1 and 2 shillings. In 1955, Cyprus introduced a decimal system, having divided pound into 1000. It is lovelier.
1000. The coin in 5 received the name of piastre. An approximate analog. More lovely, and in 50 it is lovelier, shilling. An exact analog. In 1983, division into 100 cents. 100 was in addition entered. Remained the smallest coin, 5 more lovely, renamed in cent and subsequently cancelled. Since January 1, 2008, transition to euro on a fixed rate of 0.585274 CYP for euro is carried out. The decision on it is made by European Commission on May 16, 2007. Together with Malta. Confirmed with European Parliament on June 20, 2007, and leaders of the European Union on June 21, 2007.
Exchange rate is determined at a meeting of Ministers of Finance of the European Union on July 10, 2007.
Pounds remained in legal circulation. If you pay with cash. Till January 31, 2008.
Banknotes were accepted by banking institutions till June 30, 2008. The global exchange of currency came to the end on December 31, 2009.
Coins. And on December 31, 2017. Banknotes. The largest Bank of Cyprus, Bank of Cyprus. After obtaining independence, Cyprus became one of founders of the non-aligned movement in spite of the fact that all 3 powers guarantors, Britain, Greece and Turkey, were members of NATO. In 2004, Cyprus left the non-aligned movement to enter the European Union, however kept the special status of the observer in this organization. The Constitution of 1960 represented the presidential republic with division of the authorities into executive, legislative and judicial, and quotas for protection of interests of ethnic Turks. The president and the vice president were elected, respectively, by the Greek and Turkish communities for a 5-year term, and had the veto on certain initiatives of the legislative and executive authorities. The House of Representatives was elected on the basis of separate accounting of voices on both communities. About 1964 places of the Turkish community remained unoccupied. Now the House of Representatives includes 56 deputies. 3 more seats in parliament are assigned to ethnic and religious minorities, Armenians, Catholics and Maronites. After split of the island Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus, it is headed by the President and the Prime Minister responsible before National Assembly. The highest judicial authority, the Supreme Court of the Republic. Courts of the Court of Appeal, criminal courts. Courts of First Instance, district courts. The Republic of Cyprus is divided into 6 areas. Greek or Russian dioceses. Nicosia.
Lefkosia, Tur.
Lefkosia. Partially is operated by the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus. Cyrene. Tur. Gurn. Completely is operated by the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus. Larnaca. Tur. Ishkel. A small part is operated by the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus. Limassol. Lemissos. Paytas. Tur. Waf. Famagusta. Tur. Pazamagesh. Nigesh. Ishi. Northern. Part is operated by the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus. Areas are divided into municipalities and communities. Representative bodies of municipalities, municipal councils. Representative bodies of communities, communal councils. In Cyprus there are 4 exclaves belonging to Akrotiri and Dekali as British sovereign bases. Between the Cypriot and Turkish sectors there is a buffer zone of the Union which de facto, but not de jure, is also an exclave. The Republic of Cyprus is recognized as the international community, except for Turkey, as the sovereign state. The authorities of Tursk reject sovereignty of the Republic of Cyprus over all territory of the island, and call her the Greek authorities of the southern Cyprus. Respectively, the Republic of Cyprus and the international community, except for Turkey, don't recognize Tursk, and designate her as the territories occupied by the Turkish troops. Turkey, in turn, doesn't recognize existence of the Republic of Cyprus.
On November 10, 2013, the Prime Minister of Turkey Tayyip Erdogan during the visit to Poland in addition said,
"There is no country which is called Cyprus. There is a local administration in the south of Cyprus. But there are also Northern Cyprus and Green Line between them. Since May 1, 2004, Cyprus is included into the European Union, but doesn't enter the Schengen area. According to the Protocol on the accession to the European Union, the legal system of the European Union extends only to the areas which are under effective control of the Republic of Cyprus.
Legal way of arrival on the island through the Paytas or Larnaca airports or seaports Larnaca or Limassol.
Arrival through Turkey and ports of northern Cyprus, sea or air is considered illegal.
For a visit of the Republic of Cyprus, citizens of the Russian Federation need to issue the so-called ProVisa. It is possible to fill out the application for her receiving on the website of embassy. It is possible to receive the ProVisa by email already several hours later.
The ProVisa grants the right for single entrance for the territory of the Republic of Cyprus. Repeated entrance requires execution of the national Cyprian visa. The procedure of registration is similar to obtaining the Schengen visa, but usually occupies no more than 1 working days. On January 1, 2008, Cyprus was included into the Eurozone. The Cyprian national currency, Cypriot pound, was replaced with euro. The Republic of Cyprus, with coming to power of Nikos Anastasiadis, plans to join NATO. The Turkish sector is designated on cards as the territory inaccessible in connection with the Turkish occupation, the same on the card of a northern part of the city of Nicosia. Names of the cities of northern Cyprus are given as of 1974, road signs on these cities are absent. The real estate located in northern Cyprus, and belonging up to 1974 ethnic Greeks, continues to be considered as their property. Purchase of such real estate can be considered as legal in the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus, but the authorities of the Greek sector can regard such step as buying up of stolen. Formerly under sovereignty of the Republic of Cyprus, there are 98% of the territory of the island, minus the English military bases. De facto 38% of the territory are occupied by the unrecognized Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus. The movement between 2 parts of the island free, in the presence of the passport and the legal visa of the Republic of Cyprus. The visa of the unrecognized Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus is issued at entrance. Action of an insurance cannot extend to the Turkish territory. At return from a northern part of the island, customs inspection can be carried out. As the prices in the Turkish territory are significantly lower, import of goods from it is limited. Diplomatic relations with the Soviet Union are established in August 1960. On April 7, 1992, the Republic of Cyprus recognized the Russian Federation as the successor to the USSR. Embassies of Russia are in the city of Nicosia, consulate in Larnaca. The Embassy of the Republic of Cyprus in Russia is in Moscow, consulate in St. Petersburg. Persons with the guest visa are forbidden to conduct work. The work permit has to be got before arrival in the Republic of Cyprus.
In April 2004, in both Cyprian republics there went referenda on association to the uniform state. The offered plan of association of the island was called by name the author, the Union Secretary General Kofi Annan. 65% of the citizens of Tursk participating in a referendum supported Annan's plan. 75% of Cypriot Greeks rejected the plan.
The European Court of Human Rights decided on May 12,
2014 that Turkey has to pay to Cyprus €30 million for the moral damage caused to relatives of arrested by the Turkish occupational authorities and been then missing Greeks of Cypriots, and €60 million for moral damage to the Greek population blocked on the peninsula of Cyprus. Thereby the European Court of Justice once again confirms that it recognizes only one state formation on the island, the Republic of Cyprus, which part of the territory is occupied by Turkey. The Turkish press met news by headings: headache for Ankara. The Turkish Foreign Minister, Ahmet Davutoglu, said that his country doesn't intend to execute the decision of the European Court of Human Rights. The Republic of Cyprus is included into the following organizations: the Australian Group on Monitoring of Chemical and Biological Weapon, the British Commonwealth of Nations, the Council of Europe, the Programme of the General Policy in the Field of Foreign Affairs and Safety of the European Union, the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development, the European Investment Bank, the European Union, the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations. The International Atomic Energy Agency, IA. International Civil Aviation Organization, the International Commercial Chamber, the International Criminal Court, the International Meteorological Organization, the International Monetary Fund, the International Hydrographic Organization, the International Labour Organization, the International Finance Corporation, the International Fund of Development of Agriculture, the International Development Association, International Trade Union Confederation, the Interpol, Multilateral Investment Guarantee Agency, MEGA, the International Telecommunication Union, the Non-Aligned Movement, the Interparliamentary Union, the International Organization of Migration, Nuclear Suppliers Group, the International Olympic Committee, Permanent Court of Arbitration, Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons, OSCE, the Union, UNIDO, the Union Organization for Industrial Development, the Union High Commissioner for Refugees, the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, UNCTAD, the World Federation of Trade Unions, World Intellectual Property Organization, the World Meteorological Organization, World Health Organization, World Confederation of Labor, World Customs Organization, World Tourism Organization, Universal Postal Union, UDO. Advantages: tourism gives 20% of GDP. The industry and services sector for the neighboring East countries. Member of the EU. Weaknesses: the requirement of more strict control and actions mines leakages of the capitals and taxes. Limited liberalization. The economy of Cyprus is strongly influenced by the partition of the island into the Greek sector. Republic of Cyprus and Turkish. The self-proclaimed Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus. The economy of the Greek sector prospers, however strongly depends on external risks. Gain coefficients in the 1990s reflect dependence of the island on fluctuations of number of tourists, and changes of economic conditions in Western Europe. In January 2008 the island was included into the Eurozone, and his monetary policy will be dictated by the European Central Bank. The Turkish sector represents 1/5 population and 1/7 GDP, in comparison with the Greek part of the island. Because it is recognized only Turkey, Northern Cyprus experiences difficulties with the international financing, and foreign firms usually avoid investments into him.
A half of labor is engaged in agriculture, in the public and military service. The Turkish lira is in circulation of a northern part of the island. Turkey also provides the direct and indirect help to tourism, education, the industry, etc.
The Republic of Cyprus partially solves the problems in economy and the financial sphere due to granting to foreign investors the right to citizenship of Cyprus according to the special state program created by the government.
In both sectors there is a problem of providing with water. Construction of desalination stations is planned. The industry is generally presented by the industries focused on export: sewing, knitted, shoe, tobacco. Also three are main directions: production of food, drinks, products from skin, hardware, products of chemistry and products from plastic. The food and flavoring industry produces meat and dairy products, olive oil and other vegetable oils, flour and confectionery, juice, various vegetable canned food, soft drinks, natural grape wines, beer, cigarettes. Textile and knitted products, detergents, perfumery and cosmetics, medicines, dyes, glass, cardboard, rubber products and many other things. On the island there are enterprises of mining industry. Extraction of copper, chrome, asbestos, pyrite is conducted. There are also fields of marble and plaster. In manufacturing industry, the small enterprises prevail. Modern methods of the organization and management are used. The quality products which are in demand not only in domestic market, but also in foreign markets are made. The food industry is most developed. Winemaking, production of olive oil, production of fruit and vegetable canned food. There are enterprises of the chemical, cement, furniture, tobacco, textile and tanning and shoe industry. Production of separate types of agricultural machinery is arranged. The oil refinery works. The offshore mode operating since January 1, 1977 for the companies of the international business. International business companies. Stopped since May 1, 2004. From the moment of the entry of the Republic of Cyprus into the EU.
The offshore mode of Cyprus assumed application of a rate of a corporation tax of 4.25% for the companies which didn't conduct activity in the territory of the Republic.
Now the companies of the international business don't exist. They either were liquidated, or were re-registered during 2004-2005.
The law about income tax of 2002 for all types of the companies provided the general rate of a corporation tax of 12.5%.
The rate works since January 1, 2013. Existence of the resident and non-resident companies is provided. The tax resident of Cyprus, the company which management is in Cyprus admits and also effective management of which happens in Cyprus. Enough that a large number of directors, for example 2 of 3 were tax residents of Cyprus, and it is more best also citizens, and also that all meetings of the board of directors and decision making on transactions, etc. were accepted in Cyprus. The tax resident, the natural person, the person which is in Cyprus more than 183 days admits. Between the Russian Federation and the Republic of Cyprus in 1998, the agreement on avoidance of double taxation, to which significant changes were made by the Protocol of October 7, 2010 is signed.
Cyprus is one of the most popular holding jurisdictions and jurisdictions applied in the international tax planning.
Besides the low corporate tax rate in the EU, income from sale of securities, percent and the received dividends are exempted from payment of a tax.
A tax at a source for the interest paid abroad, dividends and a royalty isn't levied.
Cyprus has the widest network of contracts on avoidance of double taxation, including with Russia and other CIS countries. Creation, functioning and liquidation of the companies is regulated by the law of the Republic of Cyprus about the companies.
The Companies Law, Cap.
113.
The main motive of purchase of the company registered in the Republic of Cyprus is that according to paragraph 22 of Article 8 releases of the Law of the Republic of Cyprus of No.
118. 2002 about income tax. Income from realization of securities is exempted from taxation. Securities in the Republic of Cyprus are understood as stocks, bonds, government bonds or shares of participants of the companies or other legal entities founded both in Cyprus and in any other jurisdiction. Bills don't concern them. The most popular and common form is the private company with the responsibility limited to actions. Private company limited by shares. At the same time, most often the Cypriot companies are used as holdings, finance companies of group, investment companies, the international trading companies, the leasing companies, the companies in schemes with a royalty. Besides, registration of the company in Cyprus, the simplest, available and effective option for trade in securities. The volume of the saved-up investments which came to Russia from Cyprus and in the most part through Cyprus by 2008 was more than $40 billion. Of total amount approximately in $200 billion. Cyprus steadily is in top 3 on the level of capital investments in the Russian economy. It is directly connected with preferential taxation in Cyprus.
Since 2008 in Russia, preferential taxation of dividends is applied if the recipients or the Russian organizations having the subsidiaries with their strategic participation which are as abroad and in Russia.
The Ministry of Finance of the Russian Federation approved the list of the states in relation to which these norms aren't applied. Also, Cyprus was among such countries. The Cypriot authorities called this list black and considered it a serious problem.
The Ministry of Finance of the Russian Federation and the Ministry of Finance of Cyprus conducted negotiations regarding an exception of Cyprus of the list.
Russia coordinated the solution of this question to the conclusion of the protocol to the Agreement on Avoidance of Double Taxation of 16.04. 2009. The protocol is paraphed in a final look. Also, Cyprus has to be more loyal to Russia concerning providing information. On October 31, 2012, Rossiyskaya Gazeta.
No. 251. Published the order of the Ministry of Finance of the Russian Federation of August 21, 2012 No. 115 and registered in the Ministry of Justice of the Russian Federation, according to which the Republic of Cyprus is excluded from 01.01.
2013 from the list of offshores approved by the order of the Ministry of Finance of the Russian Federation of No. 108N. News from the Russian tax portal about an exception of Cyprus of the Russian list of offshores.
In December 2008, the government of Ukraine suggested the Verkhovna Rada to denounce the agreement on avoidance of double taxation between the USSR and Cyprus existing so far for Ukraine. However, the Verkhovna Rada rejected this offer.
According to the Ministry of Finance of Ukraine, in 2007 from Ukraine to Cyprus it was listed in a type of income of 4,817,530,000 hryvnias.
At the same time, losses of the state budget of Ukraine from application of provisions of the Soviet Cypriot Agreement on avoidance of double taxation were 722,630,000 hryvnias. On November 8, 2012, Ukraine and the Republic of Cyprus signed the Convention on Avoidance of Double Taxation and Prevention of Evasion from Payment of Taxes on Income. The agreement between the government of the USSR and the government of the Republic of Cyprus on avoidance of double taxation of income and property. This convention allows Ukraine to levy taxes on the enterprises registered in Cyprus, according to the Ukrainian legislation. Thus, Ukraine refused 30 years' practice of granting tax benefits to the companies registered in this state. The order of the Ministry of Finance of the Russian Federation of August 21, 2012 No.
115N about modification of the list of the states and territories which are providing preferential tax treatment and are not providing disclosure and providing information when carrying out financial transactions. Offshore zones.
The approved order of the Ministry of Finance of the Russian Federation of November 13, 2007 No.
108N, the country was excluded from the list of official offshore zones for the Russian business.
Changes were entered in this list on October 25, 2012.
The new norm began to work since January 1, 2013. The dominating telecommunication company and internet service provider is Cyta. Cyprus Telecommunication Authority. Owned by the state. Due to the liberalization in 2003, in this sector several private companies, for creation of conditions of free competition appeared.
One of the most successful private telecommunication operators of Cyprus is the PrimeTel company. For the last 4 years it built own and independent fiber optic network on all island. Also, the PrimeTel company together with large world operator Reliance Globalcom will soon start the new high-speed underwater cable connecting Cyprus to Europe and other countries. In total in Cyprus 6 universities are located.
3 state and 3 private. The Cyprian University, the Open University of Cyprus and the Cyprian Technological University 3 state. Besides 3 private universities. The European University of Cyprus, the Cyprian University of Frederick and Universitet Nicosia. There are several institutes. Cyprian Academy of Public Administration, the Higher School of Hotel Business, Mediterranean Institute of Management and Cyprian International Institute of Management.
National holidays. New Year on January 1.
Epiphany on January 6. Green Monday. The beginning of a post in 50 days prior to Orthodox Easter. National Day of Greece, on March 25, isn't recognized as the Cyprian national holiday. National Holiday of Cyprus, on April 1. Good Friday, with changing date. Like Monday. Monday after Easter. The International Labor Day, on May 1.
A festival in honor of the Great Flood. Monday after the Trinity. Assumption on August 15. Independence Day of Cyprus on October 1. The national holiday of Greece. Day of Ohi. On October 28 isn't recognized as the Cyprian national holiday. The eve of Christmas on December 24. Christmas on December 25. Christmastide on December 26. Cuisines of Cyprus are the cornerstone, the Mediterranean dishes, first of all Greek and Turkish. Enters their number muse. A set of the numerous snack and dishes united by one subject, meat or fish. Widespread both in Greece and in Turkey, and the baked meat of a goat or lamb. But nevertheless use of meat of goats is traditional. Pleftiko is translated as stolen meat, as earlier shepherds hid the stolen meat in the earth and trained him, making fire from above. Today this dish is prepared in densely closed furnace. Thanks to a preparation method, meat turns out gentle and easily departs from bones. Dishes on a brazier, a souvla and souvlaki are also traditional. Fried cutlets in hot fan and a sheftalaya. Forcemeat with spicy herbs and a grain crumb. Squids and octopus in red wine are among some local seafood dishes. From sweets, local fruit, vegetables and nuts, jam from walnuts is widespread in a soft shell, eggplants, a fig and so forth. Also Cypriots consider the dish churchella. In Greek, the nuts strung on ropes, and covered with the stiffened syrup from grape juice, flour and pink water. In cookery, pink water is actively used. The Cyprian coffee is similar to coffee in Turkish, is served together with a thick and a glass of ice water. Cinnamon has huge value in Cypriot cuisine, she is added practically to all dishes. Sweets, meat, cutlets, vegetable stews. Commanderia wine, which production began at the time of Crusaders, is renowned. Local grades of Kio beer and Leon are popular. The British heritage in the field of cookery is expressed in the traditional English breakfasts, from fried eggs with bacon and haricot. In a number of bars, beer is served in the English pints. The big loss is caused to populations of small migratory birds. Up to 2 million individuals a year at the beginning of the 2010 years. Who are eaten, considering by a delicacy. See the main article. Basis of armed forces of the Republic of Cyprus is the National Guard. Founded in 1964 and including Overland, Evs, Sea, Naval Forces, and Air Force components. Total number of National Guard about 14,000 men.
Ground forces of National Guard of the Republic of Cyprus include 1 and 2 infantry divisions, 3 and 4 separate infantry brigades, the 20th Separate Armored Brigade, Separate Crew, Commando, Command of Field Artillery, a part and division of the Central Submission. The air component includes 449 and 450 helicopter squadrons, an educational aviation squadron, the ZER separate division, 2 air defense divisions, the ZH battery. For more details, see the Air Force of Cyprus. The navies include Naval Base, Settlement Ziki,
and are armed with several patrol boats. For more details, see the navies and sea police of Cyprus. Besides, on the basis of the Contract on Security Guarantees of the Republic of Cyprus of 1960, Greece contains in the territory of the Republic of Cyprus the troops, numbering over 2,000 men. The main suppliers of arms and military equipment: Greece, Russia and France. The USA and Great Britain imposed embargo on delivery of arms because of suspense of the Cyprian problem. His staff is gathered at the call from among men aged from 16 years, duration of conscription service is 24 months. From 1.01 2009, the decision of the cabinet is made in the middle of December 2008, before conscription term made 25 months, and is obligatory for persons whose father is the Cypriot Greek. The appeal is optional to religious minorities: Armenians, Catholics, Maronite Christians. Turks aren't subject to an appeal. Guests of the island, the man of 16 years, having the Cypriot father, have to receive the exit visa from the Ministry of Defense of the Republic of Cyprus. Main attractions of the country: Lazar's grave, Tomb Chala Sultan, Archaeological Museum of Antiquities. In an old part of Famagusta there is a fortress of the 14th, 15th centuries in which tower there lived Shakespearean Othello's prototype, the Venetian commander Christopher Moro. Near Caronia, ruins of Gothic Abbey Belapae, the Museum of Shipwrecks. The monastery Stavrovouni, founded according to the legend, in 327 Saint Helena. Agios Andronikos Church. The antique city of Kurion near Limassol. Ruins of the Byzantine and medieval strengthenings. Also far. Write comments. Read comments. Interesting people will tell interesting stories. All of good mood and good luck.